Now then, everybody, thank you again for joining the journey, the video, second video of the channel. Today, I mentioned it, I'm going to come on at about 6 o'clock just to give you a bit of an idea of what's going on in the market, see where we're at in terms of what players that we could look at doing reviews on. But, you know, again, it was just another conversation I've had with a couple of guys that they asked me what formations I play, what tactics that I go into. Again, there's videos like this online, but I'm wanting to go into a little bit more depth into it and give you all as much of an idea as possible, the best tactics that you can use that's going to push you up, even if it is to that next level, if you need to or you want to get to that next level. I'm a Division 1 player pretty much week in, week out. There are weeks where I just cannot be bothered, you know, in terms of I'll play somebody and just cannot score, can't break the lines. It turns out it's just down to formation. And what I find really quite annoying about this FIFA is that if you're good at skill, which everybody seems to be able to twist that analog stick around and be able to do something with a player like Neymar, you just get through, break the lines easy. But every now and again you will come up against that formation that you can't break down, and it's massively down to your formation, which makes you a better team rather than actually being a better FIFA player, passing around, breaking the lines, and the AI of the defence is just so good. But this is kind of where I change it in game, and all of a sudden going from not being able to control the ball, losing it every single time I try and get out of my half, boom, counter attack. And we all know once you lose that ball in that pretty much your third where they're attacking, just before you get to halfway line, if they're half decent players, you know for a fact that you're going to pretty much be losing it, you're going to be conceding a goal. So just again, in case you didn't see yesterday's video, if you did, go on, have a look at it, like it, subscribe to the channel, join the journey. As I keep saying, it's going to be something that daily I'm going to be uploading as many videos as I can that's important rather than just any old video. Just tutorials as well about things that we could actually improve on together, where free kicks, penalties. I know it sounds nuts, but how many of you guys on there will take penalties and you pretty much miss at least 50% of them? You know, there's a reason for it. You know, if you look at it, there's this movement of players' heads and stuff like that, and there's just giveaways that you can potentially use, and you know, there's little chip methods into the corner that seem to be working. So we'll go into a bit of that in other videos down the line as well. But I suppose this comes in today, formation wise. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go on about 3 or 4 or 5 formations. I'm just going to do this one and actually go into a little bit of depth about it. And then I'll show you examples as well of what I mean, where you know you can see potential runners down the line, or you can see the coverage of maybe a defence if you're into that final end game point where you're at 80 to 90 minutes, where we all know once you get to them last 5 minutes, something seems to happen in the game where all of a sudden there's loads more space and there's easy chances created. So yeah, just again, show you my team. This is kind of what I'm playing with. Obviously, this isn't my formation in game. You know, a lot of you all know, but the big factor of it is you want to be getting your 10 chemistry, 100 chemistry, sorry. And if I don't have somebody like Shevchenko in there, I'm going to struggle. I'd love to be able to get Neymar and Robin into my team from the start, but with the players that I've got, I just won't be able to do it. So, just to give you all a bit of an idea, I'm going to go to a new squad builder and show you what I'm looking at. Just a bit of a template one here. So what you need to do is basically ignore the chemistry to start with, because that's not what it's going to be. I'm going to try and put in my starting lineup of who I've got. Pretty sure it's Gundogan, isn't it? Actually, I don't know how to spell his name. So, here he is. So pretty much, is off cam obviously at the minute, but the idea really is that we go into a formation in game where a lot of, and probably the most popular one, if you're going through the whole game, 4-3-2-1. Oh, 4-2-3-1. I will find it, I promise. This formation, it looks very narrow at the minute, but it's actually, you where Essien and Eto'o are at the minute, they actually move quite far out wide. So once I get in game, basically what you'll see is that there, that there. And I either have it like this set up, where I'll have Robin out on the right, Debar on the left, and often just down me, just being a bit kind of like picky with it. That is how I go in game pretty much 90% of the time. But it's something that if you know what you're doing in terms of custom tactics, this is where it becomes very important that you don't go into it willy-nilly, not editing stuff. And I think a lot of it's mental as well. If you think you've made some tweaks to it and you've adjusted a certain team or a player, formation-wise, attacking, you play slightly different, you kind of like it a bit more, and I think with that you become a bit more expansive with your setup philosophy of players, Van Gaal used to say. So once I get in game, often what I do, in this position, I will go on press after possession loss. I think that is massive for me, different for each player. But again, if you look at what it says here, after your team loses possession of the ball, your teammate will press the ball for approximately 7 seconds. This will affect players' fatigue, and your players could be out of position if you don't win the ball back during this time. So it's important that if you are an aggressive defender, like what I am, you want to pop out to them quickly. You need to get that ball as quick as possible. But remembering that if you have it on that, there is potential that you might have a centre-back that comes out of position and all of a sudden you've got somebody that whips in behind. So the idea is, this is when I'm going quite attacking. Press after possession loss for me, big. Width, this to me is very close. I've played at 1 depth and I've played at 10 depth just to see how big a difference it is, and believe me, it does make a difference. You don't want to be going out for the full 10 because all of a sudden you've got big holes between your centre backs and your right and left back. So I just tend to go for a steady 4 or 5. Yeah, that's my setup. Depth, I'll go 3 for depth. I've got some quite quick players, but also when you look at my team, as I was saying, I've got Gomez and Van Dijk that they're just your basic cards. They're good. You know, that's why a lot of the Division 1 players have still got Gomez in the team. But if I could get somebody half decent in a pack ever, I would potentially swap Gomez out for somebody else. So yeah, that's the defensive side of it. The depth, you know, that's just here or there. If you want to try and win the game later on in a match, boom, you'll put your depth quite high up. But remember, if they've got an Mbappe or somebody like Butugueno, balls in over your defence, pretty much going to cost you a goal. So I don't advise that. And then offensively, again, this is completely different. I've had games where I've played fast build-up and I've loved it, and I've been killing players, just absolutely breaking the lines. And I think that's probably one of the better ones. If you can see what's going on, quickly. If you've played with your team 50 games, all of a sudden you do get a bit of a sense of a feel for where each player is going to be, and that to me is massive. If you get to have an idea that you've got a player that's going to be hogging that touchline or that's going to drift in, you know where that ball's going to be getting played before it's even come to you. So fast build up or long ball, and this is what I've been going to. I've reverted to long ball because I have got fast players like Eto'o, Neymar, even Robin. That boom, you do the whole kind of like call player short, boom, and then drop running behind, lofted through ball. You're pretty much going to get a good opportunity from that. Width again, this is where I always play smack bang in the middle, and then it doesn't seem to cause me any problems. Again, I've done the whole width 1 and width 10. I just think you need it to be there or thereabouts in the middle. Players in box, again, this depends on what time of the game you're at, but I usually go for around about 6. That's kind of where I feel happy, because it's just the custom tactics on each player, which I'll show you, is where you probably differ a little bit in terms of how many players are bombing forward, or actually I don't have enough players getting forward, do I need to change or adjust something? And corners and free kicks, I go 2 and 2. Many times I've been broke on the counter attack. I actually like it on less for corners, because if you'll still have Van Dijk up there if you've got a strong centre back, or a Varane or a Ramos or somebody like that, and then all of a sudden there just seems to be more space for your defenders, your attackers, sorry, to be going for it. And if you do the whole front runner, you know, again, Cristiano Ronaldo, this is why people only have 2 in the box, because Ronaldo will get front post. No matter what you do, you won't be able to stop it, and it's boom, and it infuriates you. I know, I've been there. So that's pretty much where we'd be at in terms of the tactics setup of it. Formation you've seen, and then this is the important bit for me. I've seen loads of people that change this around, but what works for me, like I say, always Division 1 player. I'll have stay back whilst attacking. I put conservative. I think that's important, because if you do just want to be balanced in your tactics, or even just sort of like what I was saying in regards to being a bit more aggressive with your defence when pressing after possession loss, you don't want that all game, you know, like, and I find if you're on aggressive or even normal, especially players in my team like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Gomez, they are lunging in like it's going out of fashion, and it does your head in. So again, conservative inceptions, run type, always overlap. So I do that same for both of them, and then I think that gives you a lot of balance. Again, conservative. That's your defence sword, and you don't need to mess about with any more of that. SCN, this is my defensive midfielder. If any of you guys have played with SCN, he's one of the most infuriating players you can have. Baby SCN is probably one of the best ones you can get for defence work, positioning the best, absolutely GOAT. When it comes to passing, Jesus, he is absolutely shocking. He can't pass 5 yards. If he's on a turn or something like that, just give up, just pass it backwards. So this is how I do it. I have balanced defensive behaviour, stay back while attacking, and again on here I leave this normal. I think you've got a little bit more room for error with your defensive midfielders, as opposed to your defence where you make a mistake, boom, they're through. And then again, I've seen loads of people do this with cover wing and all this that. When I've done cover centre or cover wing, I always say cover centre. I just think it works so much better. You've already got your right back, you've already got your left back. I don't think you need to be doing the cover you out wide. Just my idea of it. But either or, I don't think you'll notice it enormously with that. So that's my right defensive midfielder. He is the defensive one. And then on this one here, Rooney, I'll always just have it on balanced. Interceptions, not bothered. And on this one, believe it or not, I'm just saying that I don't believe in the whole kind of like cover centre, cover wing. I'm not that bothered about it. On Rooney, I always leave that. Just leave it to be, because it's a bit more like room for freedom. Robin, stay forward or come back. This is where each player is completely different. I like to have it on stay forward for Robin. He's a different type of player. He's not going to affect or help me out much in defence. He's there, but not in real kind of like defensive mind. Runs, you know, I just leave it balanced. Freedom, I put this on roam, or free roam for Robin, because he cuts inside and he creates a lot of decent space. And again, I'm not right bothered about that for your interceptions. This can be different. If you find that you attack more down your right hand side, you can change it. So like I do, I seem to attack more down my right hand side and give my options to Robin, where he's a bit more free roam. On this one, I actually say come back and defend, and then basically run tight, get into the box for a cross. Just because He's not going to win. He's not going to win you many headers, but if he's there just to be able to kind of like get into that back post and bang, smash it in, you're laughing, absolutely laughing. And then going on to my main guys, honestly, Neymar is just the best. I hate Neymar in real life. I think he dives around, he's skillful, but he's just like a better version of Zaha. just skill, really good. He's playing in a Farmers League. He's got all the skills and the tricks that you need, but he dives around. He gives anybody that loves football like us, you've got absolutely no room to defend when they're doing what they're doing, diving around. If you're talking to a rugby lover or anything like that, I hate rugby, it's not my cup of tea, but if they're like diving around and this, that and other, it's embarrassing. You can't defend that, which is true. But anyway, going to Neymar on the FIFA. I have Neymar stay forward, and then on this one, get into the box or across. Again, I love that. Just see these runs coming through. Stick to position, yeah, and then again, not bothered about that. That tends to be my big one. And then again, not bothered. You can drift wide. Sometimes it's really effective, but getting behind, really important. Not bothered about these ones. That's your main things, I'd say. And just to give you a bit of an idea, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get some like video footage just at the end of this to give you a bit of an idea as to what's what. I'm telling you now, these are the best tactics that you can go for if you're looking for your main drive forward through the vast majority of the game. I've played against 5-3-2 or whatever the formation is, 5-2-1-2, all sorts, and this seems to be the best one still. So hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea. I'm going to get into some game now and I'm going to show you the difference and where I'm on about with the like Neymar, Robin and things like that, bombing and diving forward. Cool. Right then, just to give you a bit of an idea what I'm going into. Division rivals, done my 30 games now. As you can see, I've reverted back to my standard formation to start with, just so I've got that 100 chemistry. See what kind of team I'm playing up against to start with, if it'll find somebody. A lot of the time it struggles, but you'll see, even if it gets into a game at some point today and they have got a ridiculous team, it doesn't mean that they'll be a better team or anything like that. Often I'll think, oh my god, and you can get a bit disheartened, but then I actually think, oh, my team's pretty decent here. So let's have a nose at this is what we're going to play against. See, it's a good team that. You look at it and you think, solid. You've got Puskas, Pele, Vieira, Neymar. It's a very good team. Not bad, not bad. As you can see, he went into, like basically reverted into a 4-4-2. I think you were in that for the vast majority of the game, which is weird because you've got somebody like Puskas. He's good. It's expensive. He's too expensive for the quality that he is, if that makes sense. But to play him out wide just don't work at all. So yeah, it were quite. As soon as I got that first goal, quite easy really. Steady 5-2. Just to give you a bit of an idea as to what we're going on. Early doors. You can see the runner's movement, but this is a bit early to kind of go on about my tactics, because if you know yourself, if you're doing formation changes in games, sometimes it takes a little while, a ball to go out of play or whatever for it to change. And then just as I got a corner, my phone died, the camera died, sorry, just as I was getting this sorted. I scored just after the camera died. But again, just a simple header. But again, that goes back to the tactics what I was saying, where I've only got two in the category for the tactics for defensive corners and things like that. I am the biggest sucker for conceding goals on the 45th minute. I have no idea what goes on. Look how deep I'm doing offside trap. I'm moving them forward. Just that stupid touch, boom, goal. And just before that happened, I had it on left hand side with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Switched it, usually 9 times out of 10, perfect. Goes out to right wing back, excellent. Went out for basically a near enough a corner, score from the result of that. And then things just got easier then. This is why I wanted to show it, because you see that movement from Dybala just before, just to give you a bit of an idea. I'm not on Dybala. He's moving in and out. He's jinking here and there, and then I do the quick 1-2 pass thing with Eto'o, just so it drags another defender out of place. Obviously, Dybala is all left-footed, so if you know that you can get him onto that ball, I just want to pause this. If you look at Dybala, is just at the top edge of the box. I'm not doing that. That's him. Boom. Eto'o is running at that space. So if I pass it, it's going to be there. Or bang, exactly what I just did. Quick dummy, cheeky top corner, bang, finesse, goal. That's easy, simple stuff. Again, another one here. Just dribbling through. This is luck. You get this sometimes. When you start getting leads, I always find that if I'm losing a game 2-0, everything's going against me. Flip side, when I'm 2 or 3 goals ahead, stuff like that happens. Excellent. And just to kind of another one, you're seeing it quite often now, corners. And this is something where, if you can execute this and you've got somebody like Robin on edge area, everybody knew in real life what Robin was going to do. Going to cut in on his left foot, top bins, goal. Exactly the same on FIFA. Look at his little limp wrists. So yeah, boom, top bins. There's no saving it. If you've got somebody like that in your team, there's loads, even players like Griezmann, Fekir, left-footed ones are really good, effective, cheap players that you can do this with. And once again, just to kind of show you, look at the time. You can see everything opens up 90th minute. I don't know if it's me or what. Great finish by the guy. But basically, it were a nice win. So that was me playing the full 90 minutes, the 4-2-3-1 with them exact tactics that I showed you earlier. Hopefully that's helped you out. If it has, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing as many of these videos as I can. But what I'm going to try and do as well is, game like that, yeah, he had a great team, but I don't think he was the best player. Let's just have a nose here, just to see what skill rating was together. But the idea really is that if we're in against somebody a bit stronger, massively for weekend league players here, if you know in game you need to tweak something, you need to check, he didn't have the greatest. Mine's not great, look at that. So the idea really is that you want to be able to tweak stuff in game if things aren't going as well as it did for me there. And I'm going to keep doing these videos, I'm going to keep getting these formations drilled out to you of what's going to be important for you and the way that you're going to develop your team, getting it better, get more coins, progress further in the weekend league. And I'm here to support any ideas, any tactics that you've got in mind. Please comment, and I'll get back to you if there's any videos that you need tutorials on. I'm here to help you out. But yeah, for today, guys, that's it for the formation for 4-2-3-1. All the very best. Toodaloo, guys.